Now we're going to bring in another longtime regular, Tamara Shoemaker. And Tamara runs the Cyber Patriot program here in Michigan. And instead of me trying to ham-handedly explain what that is, I'll let the pro do it. So go ahead, take it away, Tamara.
Sure. So just a little update on what Cyber Patriot is. So Cyber Patriot started itself in kindergarten and goes all the way through senior citizens, a program. So the K through 5, they have just little cybersecurity awareness video games that they can play, and they're all for free. Just download them. Once they become middle school kids and high school kids, then they have a national competition. And that competition runs from October until March every year. And we have over 6,000 teams across the state, or across the country, I mean, that virtually compete every month against each other. And then they come up with the national finals at the end. These folks are doing this virtually up until up until nationals. That's the first time that they actually go toe to toe. You have to worry about any kind of transportation, but then again, that's all taken care of by the U.S. Cyber Patriot program. So they don't really actually even have to worry about that. They just have to show up and be excited. It's all about hardening your defenses. It's all about defense. It's not on the offense side. We have Cisco. We have operating systems, both Microsoft and Linux. And these kids really learn how to become our cyber heroes and protect us.
Matthew?
All right. What drew you to the Cyber Patriot program personally?
So I've been in higher education for the last 17 years, and we know that there's a critical shortage of cybersecurity professionals, and we can't get them in the higher learning areas. We can't get them through fast enough, right? They have to go through their high school, they have to go through either community college and transfer over to a university, or then go to a university, and they really aren't really what we really need, boots on the ground, until they get through a master's program. And so that's a lot of years. And so what I was noticing that there wasn't an awful lot of kids that were outside of the norm engineering comp sci kind of student that was already kind of interested in this thing in the pipeline. And what we really need is diversity, and what we really need is a ton more people involved in this, because there isn't an industry, there isn't a part of our lives that's not touched, but that needs cybersecurity, right? Even when you're talking about the cannabis business that has all kinds of logistics, that has banking, that has all kinds of things that need to be in their regulations, all kinds of areas that cybersecurity is very important for. So there isn't an industry that's not touched. We just can't get enough people in. So I really felt like I had to reach back into the high school, middle school, and find something that would inspire them, and that would inspire all the children to be at least cyber aware, so that when they become employees in whatever facet they become, they will not be the weakest link. And then hopefully to inspire those kids that really have a gift for it to do more and to get into it quicker, so that learning curve is shortened up.
Let me ask you, I mean, this is kind of the sausage machine, as it were, and you've been doing it for what, 4 or 5 years, somewhere in that ballpark?
Oh, no, we're working on 7. This is my
7 years,
year.
okay.
Yeah, I know, right?
Does that mean you now have kids that were doing this program that are now coming out the other end of the machine, as it were?
Absolutely. Yes, we are. And amazing places that they're being placed, right? And at level that they're being placed at, because they didn't just start like normal. Lots of times, kids will show up to college and they'll say, well, I think I kind of like IT, and I think I like this, and I think I like that. And it might take them a little while to figure out what they want. These kids are hitting the ground with already maybe a community college level awareness and actualization, and so they really are moving fast. So yeah, they're in leadership now positions. Then they're coming back to me as mentors. They're coming back as coaches in some of these other areas and things. So yeah, it's an amazing time, and I'm real it's paying off. There's more people in the pipeline.
All right. So how's the competition year going? I know you're right in the middle of it, right?
We are in the middle of it. So December was our state rounds. January will be the semifinals, and then March will be the nationals. And in December, for the state rounds, I want to give a shout out to these classes and these places. I promise I'll be real quick. So in the open division, so we have 3 levels of play: platinum, gold, and silver, which is a really important point. Meaning you can come into this game with no experience, or you can be a kid who can reverse engineer the darn thing, and you still have a level of play. And so in the state of Michigan, the top teams for platinum, the first place team is Wexford Misaki Career Center, and that's a new one. That's a brand new school, not new to this. Second place in platinum is Bloomfield Hills High School. Third place is Canton High School. Then when you get down to the gold level, first place in the state is Canton High School, so they got a double one there. We got second place in the gold level, Gull Lake High School, and then third place Lloyd Norix, and that's new. On the silver, we have Warren Mott High School, which they're pretty new to the game. Silver at level for second place, Gull Lake Community Schools. That's 2 now for Gull Lake. Third place, we have Bay Aroniak ISD Career Center. Then when you get down to the middle school kids, we have Holton Middle School. We have Farmington STEAM Academy, and they've been in in the top 3 for a couple of years now. And then Gull Lake Community Schools. And I know that Gull Lake they've truly been thinking about it. And a lot of these schools now have reached down and may have only started out with 1 high school team. Then they got a bunch of high school teams, and then they moved into the middle school to kind of bring in that feeder teams. We also have the all service division. And so all service platinum, we have Major Kevin Adams Memorial Composite, and number 1 again this year. We have number 2, Hull High School. Number 3, Van Dyke Cadet Squadron. And then in the gold, we have Major Adams again, the number 1 spot. Howell High School in the number 2 spot. These guys are going to have quite the little thing going on, right? Keeps watching that first and second spot. And then Lapeer Composite bringing up the 3rd place. And in the silver, they have just 1, and that's Tri-County Composite, and that's a new one that's in there. So I'm pretty excited about how we have the folks that have been doing it for a while and have feeder teams, and the ones that are beginners and that are getting into the winning spots. And so I'm pretty excited about where we are in Michigan and the growth that we've had, even through a pandemic.
So how much does it cost these high schools to participate in Cyber Patriot?
So that's the beauty of Cyber Patriot, right? It's really low cost, easy, no barrier, right? So it's $205 for a team of 6. And each coach can coach up to 5 teams. And then you kind of got help and more people involved. And the other really important part to know about that is that they need mentors too from industry, right? And so that's really where the help comes in, because we can't expect our teachers to know all this stuff. And so if you bring in mentors from industry that do this every day, that really helps. Then when you're in middle school, it's only $185 for a year. So, and you really can do this kind of year round, because one season ends in March, and then you can sign up for the next season and already start practicing for the next round. And so you can practice all the way around the year. So that's very little and much, right? So even if the school didn't have the $205 to pay, that would be $40 a head. And then Title I schools are free, and all girl teams are free as well.
All right. So what happens to the teams that win state championships? Do they go on to nationals then, or?
So the ones that are at the state level will then do a semifinal, and then that it's going to bring it down to only 28 teams that then go head to head during the actual finals there in Bethesda, Maryland. And then they get flown in, no cost to them. They get flown in, put up in a hotel, and they kind of go at it head to head. And that's the first time they actually get to see their opponents, right? Because everything's been virtual up to this point. And so it's pretty fun. And then you've got AT&T and Cisco and all kinds of folks who throw in challenges. There's a red team that sort of comes at them. So it's real live fire at that point. It's a really fun kind of thing. The competition is at that point.
So is it sort of a capture the flag kind of thing? Is that how we?
No, it's kind of a little bit of all of that. It's very strange. So it's as if they are. They're given a business to protect. At the point of nationals. So up until this, it's been all about defense and finding your vulnerabilities and hardening your systems and making sure that happens, and also hardening on all of your networks and anything that faces outwards. But when it comes to the actual live fire during nationals, now you've got folks that are coming at you. So you've got a red team, you've got challenges that are being thrown at you, and you've got this company that you have to keep up and running. So, and it might have some Linux things that are online and things that are working. They have some Microsoft stuff that's working. And then of course, you got your network challenges that are coming at you all the time.
All right. So what's next? What's the most recent thing? You said the season ends in March. That's coming right up.
It is. So we've got semifinals in January. So the 21st and the 22nd is the semifinals, and then we'll go into the nationals in March 17th through the 21st. But what's coming up the soonest, or what's on my mind right now, is planning for the summer. And so in February we get to start signing up to become venues for the summer camp. And what we normally do here in the state of Michigan is we all come together as a group and work on doing many venues all at one time and do a kind of a coordinated effort so that it doesn't cost us all quite as much, and we can kind of band together and have the members, the folks that have done it for a long time, help those that don't. So if you want to become a venue, reach out to us. If you want to help sponsor this event, that'll happen over the summertime, you can go to MICyberPatriot.com and find out all the information about the coming year and how that's all going to work. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Now, could you work with a fine institution like Lawrence Technological University to move forward on this?
And I think I love it when I work. So, I used to work for the University of Detroit Mercy, and we always had a camp there. We've had camps at Eastern Michigan. We've had camps at high schools. We've had camps all over, right? The more the merrier. And I truly enjoy it when we partner with someone at a university or community college or even at the Air National Guard base, because I want to show these kids the pathway, right? And so if they are at the schools, then they see that pathway becoming a reality, right? They can do campus visits. They can, see how it all is going to work. They see themselves there. That makes a huge difference in their lives. And so, yeah, I'm very excited about doing those kinds of partnerships.
And you're looking not only for students for summer camps, but also for sponsors, right?
Correct. And venues as well. So other folks that want to actually host it as well. But we'll do that all to working together so that we can share the resources.
I can point you to the right people to talk to at LTU. I'd be happy to do that.
Wonderful. And then before I go, I really need to shout out to my new employer, right? So over the AutoISAAC.
Yeah, I can see it in the background there, and people may not know what AutoISAAC is. So why don't you tell them?
Automotive sharing community. So we're sharing our cybersecurity expertise. Members from all over the globe are a part of our group, and it's a place that we can come together and we can share all of the things, and everything stays internal, and we all just help each other, right? So the cybersecurity thing is pretty scary kind of a deal if you're all on your own. But this is a nice place where everyone comes together and they share that information. And what I was hired to do coming out of higher education is to work on their education and training areas. And so right now, we just today, this morning, we started our first automotive cybersecurity training called ACT. And we're putting through our first 50 employees through of all different parts of all the membership of our industry, the auto industry, have sent representatives to go through basic training in cybersecurity. And so this is for all the engineers and all the folks that they got their degrees a couple of years ago and they didn't have cybersecurity in part as a part of that, but now we can kind of get them caught up in these really intensive training. So the first 6 weeks is 2-week sessions blocks where they actually get their background, right? The basic stuff, the thing they can build on. And then in March, we'll start the hands-on training where they're actually going to have pieces and parts of the automobiles and get their hands right in there and start to do some of that stuff, at the component level. And so it's a pretty exciting thing. I'm really excited to be a part of.
All right. If people want more information on AutoISAAC, where should they go?
AutoISAAC.com.
Okay,
automotive ISAAC. So automotive
ISAAC.
ISAAC.com.
And Cyber Patriot?
MICyberPatriot.com.
Okay. So last quick question. The kids themselves, are you finding them really excited about the prospect of working in security? Cybersecurity?
I'm surprised at it. And I think globally we're getting, because it's growing. Cyber Patriot's actually growing across the globe. What I'm excited about is when you just showing them the way, right? So when I just have the kids, even in just a camp, they get inspired to do more. And then once they get through a whole season and they're working on that, it's just amazing to see them, like I said, I would take it as a win if they're just aware, right? But they truly are getting their arms around it. And I think the thing that's different about it is that they realize it's not just about ones and zeros. It's just not about coding. It's not about stuff that you don't just have to know math, right? If you have an interest in people, you'll do really, really well in social engineering area. So, we show them by bringing in people that are from all different walks of life in the cybersecurity to let them see all the different pieces. So yeah, it makes a big difference them actually experiencing it, right? So that they can see it. It's not quite as cold and distant and what they may have preconceived notions about what this area might be.
And of course, one last thing, it's one of the highest paying jobs you can start out at, right? It's like 6 figures right out of the gate, right?
It is. Then that's not a hard thing. Zero unemployment. We've got kids that change jobs every year, 2 years, because they just keep jumping up, right? People keep stealing them from each other. That's one of the things that I'm kind of excited about being in the auto, where we're training each other, because then they won't have to keep stealing from each other, right? Because if you do that, those other companies are the weakest link, but we're all in this together. And so we don't want any weak links, none. We want it all covered.